You know that voice in your head? We all have one. Sometimes it's a helpful guide, but other times, especially when we're stressed, it just won't shut up. It becomes this chattering source of anxiety. Well, today we are going to dive into the neuroscience of how to tame that voice. We've got 5 powerful, science-backed tools from one of the world's top experts. Ready?
But first, let me just ask you this. Think about it for a second. What happens to an idea, or even a worry, that just sits in your mind? You don't act on it, you don't process it. Where does it go?
Well, think about a piece of fruit. If you leave it on the tree for too long, what happens? It rots. Our thoughts are kind of the same. When we don't process them, they can start to decay into something called mental rumination. You know, when you get stuck in that loop of negative thinking, just spinning your wheels, that's the chatter we're talking about.
So who's going to help us figure this out? Our guide is Dr. Ethan Kross. He's a professor over at the University of Michigan, and seriously, one of the leading experts on how to control our own minds. So the stuff we're talking about today, it comes straight from his incredible research.
So here's the game plan. First, we'll get a handle on what this chattering mind really is. Then we're going to build a toolkit piece by piece with 5 amazing techniques. We're going to talk about talking to yourself the right way, realizing you aren't your thoughts, creating rituals, cleaning up your space, and finally, taking control of what you let into your brain.
So this chatter, what is it really? It's basically our inner voice turning on us, especially when the pressure is on. You know, like right before a huge job interview or during a final exam. That's when that voice gets super loud, right? It just replays all your past mistakes and predicts total disaster, basically sabotaging you right when you need to be at your best.
Okay, so tool number 1 might sound a little weird at first, but stick with me. It's simply this: talk to yourself. But here's the trick. It's all about how you talk to yourself. Dr. Kross calls it distanced self-talk, and it's a tiny linguistic shift that can change, well, everything.
Check out this amazing experiment Dr. Kross did. He got a bunch of people and told them they had to give a surprise, super stressful mock job interview. He told one group to psych themselves up using the word I, but the second group, he told them to use their own name. And the results, they were incredible. The group that used their own name had a lower heart rate, felt way less stressed, and actually performed better. Why? Because talking to yourself in the third person lets you step back. It's like you're giving advice to a friend. You're way more objective and honestly, a lot wiser.
And that idea of stepping back leads us perfectly to tool number 2, which is a big one. You are not your thought. This isn't just some feel-good mantra. It's a huge shift in perspective that lets you really detach from all that mental noise.
Think about it like this. Picture your thoughts as rain. Your conscious mind? It's not the cloud that makes the rain. No, your mind is the ground that the rain falls on. Thoughts just kind of bubble up from our subconscious. Your conscious mind just receives them. So the big takeaway here is that just because a thought pops into your head doesn't mean it's yours, and it definitely doesn't mean it's true. You know, Dr. Kross himself talks about having these weird, sometimes dark thoughts, like imagining dropping a heavy weight at the gym or even dropping his own kid. But he doesn't freak out. He just recognizes it for what it is. It's his ancient caveman brain just running simulations to check for potential dangers. It's not an intention, it's just a risk assessment.
And if you've ever had those kinds of weird thoughts, guess what? You are so not alone. According to Dr. Kross's research, a whopping 90% of people have these kinds of intrusive negative thoughts at least once a day. It's just a normal, if annoying, part of being human.
Okay, so if we can't completely stop these thoughts from showing up, what do we do about the anxiety they cause? That brings us to tool number 3, create a personal ritual. See, when our mind feels all chaotic, performing structured actions can give us back a real sense of control.
Get this. In another study, Dr. Kross had people sing in front of strangers, which is terrifying for most of us. But before they sang, he had one group perform this exact kind of bizarre ritual you see here. The results? The group that did the ritual felt way less anxious. It's not magic. The simple, ordered sequence of actions gave their brains a sense of order and control, which calmed down the mental chatter. It's why so many pro athletes like Michael Jordan have pre-game rituals. It works.
This idea of creating order naturally leads us to our 4th tool. This one is all about looking outside of ourselves, at our physical world. It's this: organize your environment. We totally underestimate how much our surroundings are shaping what's going on inside our heads.
The connection is so direct. A chaotic, cluttered room creates a chaotic, chattering mind. A serene, orderly space helps create a calm, focused mind.
Dr. Cross actually tested this. He gave people a memory test. Then he sent one group for a walk in nature and another group for a walk down a busy city street. When they came back and retook the test, the nature group's scores shot up. A calm environment literally helps create a calmer, more effective mind.
So you can actually change your mental state by changing your physical one. Tidy up your desk. Organize that to-do list so it doesn't feel so overwhelming. Get outside. And here's the really cool part. Research shows that even fake nature works. Listening to nature sounds or even just looking at pictures of beautiful landscapes can have a real measurable calming effect on your brain.
All right, our final tool is really a two-part strategy. It's about becoming the gatekeeper of your own mind. It's not just about dealing with the chatter that's already in there. It's about controlling what you let in to begin with.
Part 1 is to observe. This comes straight from mindfulness and meditation. Imagine your thoughts are just cars driving down a highway. They appear, they drive past, and they disappear. You aren't the driver of every single car. You're just sitting on the side of the road, watching them go by. When you can just watch your thoughts without judging them or getting emotionally hooked, they lose their power over you.
And part 2, control your mental diet. I mean, think about it. If you eat junk food all day long, you can't expect to feel healthy, right? Well, it's the exact same thing for your mind. If you're constantly consuming negative news, doom scrolling on social media, and taking in stressful content, you're feeding your brain junk food. If you want a healthy, calm output, you have to start with healthy, mindful input.
And there you have it, your 5-tool toolkit for taming that chattering mind. Let's run through them one last time. 1. Use your name, not I. 2. Remember you are the observer of your thoughts, not the thought itself. 3. Create little rituals to feel in control. 4. Organize your space to calm your mind. And 5. Control your mental diet. Be the gatekeeper.
Look, these aren't just cool ideas. These are practical, scientifically proven strategies you can start using right now. So the only real question left is, which one are you going to try today to quiet your chattering mind?